We finally got an update for Throne and Liberty. We've been waiting all year for this one. All year? No, we've been waiting for several years for this one. The official Throne and Liberty Twitter made a tweet stating, "Claim the throne and shape the future of Silicium. Throne and Liberty arrives September 17th on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS. Open beta test starts July 18th. More details coming soon." There's a trailer for this if you're interested, but it kind of just goes over everything we've already seen. Makes the game look a lot better than everything I've heard from players that played the Korean version. What I'm more interested in is the article that is associated with the release date announcement. How Throne and Liberty brings online RPG gameplay into a new era. Note here that they do not claim this is an MMORPG. They claim that this is an online RPG. I'm not sure why they decided to omit the MMO here. If I hit Control F and do a search, there is no mention of MMO anywhere on this entire page. Even navigating on over to the homepage, you can see the subtext, "Claim the throne, immerse yourself in the exhilarating world of Throne and Liberty, a free-to-play game centered on guild-focused combat." Not a free-to-play MMORPG. Not a free-to-play MMO. A free-to-play game. Let's go and read through the article that was posted by Amazon themselves. At the top, we see what seems to be a short synopsis of the game. Throne and Liberty is a free-to-play online role-playing game. Once again, not a free-to-play, massively multiplayer online role-playing game, just an online role-playing game. Launching on September 17, 2024, the game, developed by South Korea-based developer NCSoft, takes players on an epic journey to save Silicium, a vast and dynamic living environment that almost serves as another character in the game's story. Silicium's geography and environment change during the course of play, presenting players with unique challenges and opportunities on the fly, and ensuring that the moment-to-moment experience is exciting and unpredictable. That's not what I've heard from Korean players or players that played the Korean version. Nevertheless, I'm totally on board with this description. And before we continue, I do want to note here, it doesn't matter what I've heard. I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna stream it. It doesn't matter what people have told you or what they've said in videos. Just try the game. At the end of the day, do not let anyone influence your ability to play this game. Don't let them decide whether or not you play it. Play it and then make up your own mind based off of your own experiences. With that in mind, that isn't going to stop me from reading through this and either praising or criticizing what I read. Gather your guild and conquer the world. The vast world of Silicium is not one that you'll be exploring alone. Playing with others is a core part of the experience. From massive player versus player PvP battles to wildly unpredictable player versus environment. So I feel like they're really touting here the PvP aspect of the game. This game might not be for players that dislike PvP them. There are dungeons and of course guilds. Throne and Liberty is a game where players survive and thrive through strategic decisions, and how they forge their alliances is critical. So that sucks for me. That probably sucks for a lot of you who want to play this game solo. While much of the game's content can be enjoyed solo, oh, well, there you go. Much of the game, but not all of it. Joining a guild is a way to get the greatest experience out of Throne and Liberty. Okay? In Throne and Liberty, there are numerous goals that can be achieved through guilds, including guild rankings, conquest battles, castle sieges, said Moon Seop Lee, game design director at NCSoft. Guilds are at the core of strategic competitive battles. Guild members not only work together to achieve common goals, but also benefit from a guild reward system that includes distributing raid items and sharing rewards from events among members. However, the greatest appeal of a guild is the sense of belonging it provides, ensuring that you always have companions by your side, which is honestly a great feeling, a great aspect of MMOs. But I feel like a lot of MMOs these days target that single player aspect. And that's because most players these days want to play the game from a single player perspective. That's why WoW introduced some companion dungeons. Final Fantasy XIV's entire story mode, like all of the dungeons are now compatible with your AI controlled party members and companions. People just, they don't want to have all the crap that comes with relying on other people. So this might not necessarily be appealing to the same audience that it necessarily would have appealed to just like 5 years ago. Conquest battles and castle sieges are two unique pieces of content that help Throne and Liberty shine in PvP. Conquest battles are large-scale PvP events where guilds compete over two objectives: boon stones and rift stones. The guild that controls either gets valuable buffs and guild resources, and the guild owning a rift stone also gets the exclusive opportunity to challenge a daily field boss. Castle sieges are massive-scale battles where up to thousands of players clash over the control of a castle. This chaotic, thrilling experience involves not just sheer numbers, but also sound strategy. Players must tactically allocate their forces, effectively use unique elements like golems, and secure respawn points by capturing strategic resurrection sites. sites. Even smaller guilds can participate by capturing looting sites to collect taxes, making Castle Sieges an engaging event for all players regardless of the guild size. Once again, this is a heavily PvP game, or it makes it seem like a heavily PvP-oriented game. Blue Protocol, on the other hand, has no PvP. So if you want to participate in the PvP and have a PvP-centric MMO that is new and fresh, this will probably be for you. If you want one that's the exact opposite of that, then Blue Protocol will be for you. But we're probably not getting Blue Protocol this year anymore. Before we discuss Throne and Liberty any deeper, allow me to take a moment to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon. Allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are phenomenal, and I can't thank you all enough for the support. Now let's keep going. Play with your friends and make new adversaries. While Conquest Battles and Castle Sieges are massive PvP-focused affairs, Throne and Liberty also blends PvP and PvE in an interesting way through its unique PvPvE dungeons. So, yeah, like when you're running a dungeon, you're killing a boss monster, and some other dude comes in and kills you? Let's continue on, I guess. The development team took this direction to solve a problem that can be common in group co-op content: fatigue. PvE can be a very challenging and enjoyable experience at first, but once you reach the required level, it can become repetitive. Yeah, that's just MMOs in a nutshell. Even the most difficult raids are thrilling the first time you clear them, but after that, it's just repetition until you get the desired rewards. That's just part of the grind. That's literally the core, the skeleton of MMOs. PvP introduces new variables in repetitive situations. Yeah, like you spend all that time doing the repetitive dungeon only to be killed by another player and have to start the entire thing again, extending how long it might have taken to successfully complete the dungeon, or at least that's what I get from this. Maybe that's completely different and you can't be killed within the dungeon. I don't know, we're gonna find out. The PvPvE dungeons in Throne and Liberty are some of the game's highlights, but even the development team can't pick a favorite among them. This feels like asking which child is the cutest and most lovable among many, joked Lee when asked which dungeon he felt was the game's highlight. Each dungeon has a different atmosphere and requires different play mechanisms. I'm really curious to see which will win. But that really doesn't, like, so they're like, oh, look at this, PvPvE dungeons. Okay, what does that entail? We're not telling you. Figure it out yourself. Try it out firsthand, and then you'll see whether you like it or not. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to Google this because I'm kind of curious now. Freedom to play your way. Whether it's running a dungeon with your guildmates or sieging a castle with thousands of other players, combat is at the heart of these experiences. And Throne and Liberty comes with many different options for how you can build your character and take them into battle. Unlike many other online RPGs, not unlike many other MMORPGs, no, online RPGs, this game ditches the traditional class system for a different approach, a dual weapon system. The problem with the traditional class system is that you have to start from scratch if you want to try a new class, said Lee. This often leads players to create multiple characters, trying to develop them all and then eventually focus back on their main class if the others don't work out. In Throne and Liberty, we wanted to provide an environment where players could actively try new things without such constraints. This is also going to very, very strongly impact the overall sales of skins, because if you don't have alternate characters, then you're not going to have to buy outfits and stuff for other characters either. By simply equipping a weapon, players can access most of that weapon's skills. And most, not all. And through the transfer system, they can transfer the enhancement they've invested into other items. That's actually a very cool system. The system lowers the barrier to players trying out different builds. They won't have to abandon the character they've built in order to try something new. The dual weapon system can also give players a feeling that they've created their own unique class by linking unique combinations of weapons and skills. That actually does sound very cool. They say most of the weapon skills, not all of them. Exploring a world of wonder. When designing the world of Silicium, we started with a planetary scale, much larger than a continent, said Guman Han, narrative design director at NCSoft. The planet Novkria, how do they come up with these names? I swear to God, like, there must be like a fantasy name generator. They just type it, they just like click generate, and they're like, yeah, that name right there, that sounds good, let's go with that one. This is a world where the source of magical power fundamental to the fantasy resides. That magic enables the world of Throne and Liberty to operate very differently than what players have experienced in other online RPGs. Not MMORPGs, but online RPGs. This foundation allowed for us to define a unique natural phenomena in Throne and Liberty and conceptualize an ancient ecosystem in the world, added Ho Seok Seong, art director at NCSoft. As a result, we created places like Laslan, a typical medieval harbor city, and the Monolith Wastelands, where fantastical structures coexist within a seemingly standard desert. We also designed distinctive locations like Vianta Village, a desert settlement with varying elevations. So what I'm hearing is, we have some fantasy areas cool. From what I've seen visually and aesthetically from Throne and Liberty, it's a very beautiful game, but at the same time, it doesn't really like feel contrastingly different to any of the other fantasy medieval games I've seen. The many methods of traveling Silicium. Exploring areas with varying elevations is just one example of how traveling the world of Silicium is a truly novel experience. Due to the dynamic nature of the land, torrential rains can cause floods and suddenly create large bodies of water to traverse. Throne and Liberty enables players to navigate these constantly shifting environments through morphing. Players can morph into a variety of different animals to aid in travel as they explore Silicium. The decision to let players morph into animals in place of the traditional mount was the subject of deep discussion by the team at NCSoft, so it's kind of like a druid from World of Warcraft. Within the development team, there has been much discussion about whether it's better to ride something special, like me, or to become something special yourself. Well, my mother told me I was special when I was young, so I mean, I already fit the latter category right there. To focus on the idea of becoming a special me, we decided to feature the experience of transforming into different beings as a core aspect of Throne and Liberty. Morphing into these different animals is a key part of the game, so the team worked hard to get it to feel right. Players can leap off a cliff and turn into a bird to take flight mid-descent, or transform into a sea turtle instantly by making contact with the ocean. Why a turtle? Okay, sure, not like a dolphin, not like a shark or something really cool or intimidating, no, a turtle. These quick decisions require split-second thinking and fast transition. They do. You require quick thinking when dipping your toe into a bathtub. Sure. In typical games, when you ride a mount, you often have to wait while the transformation occurs. However, in Throne and Liberty, since you become the creature yourself, we put significant effort into making the transition seamless without delays or interruptions. In addition to morphs, the game features shapeshifts and playful transformations, all adhering to... So like a transformation like the sexy no jutsu from Naruto? I'd be down for that, hell yeah. All adhering to a soft magic system within the game's lore. This means players can transform into animals, magical creatures, golems, and even enchanted mechanical entities. Okay, no, I like the sound of that. I don't want to have to turn into a turtle every time I go try and take a shower or a bath. And at the same time, this isn't the first game that has done this. When you shapeshift in World of Warcraft, it's also instant, from what I recall. NCSoft and Amazon Games have a harmonious pairing. Yeah, because the entire success of this game is riding solely on Amazon, not on NCSoft. The collaboration between NCSoft and Amazon Games to bring Throne and Liberty to the West has been beneficial to both companies, and most of all to the game itself. Sorry, that was very unprofessional of me. I just couldn't contain myself there. Beneficial to the game. Amazon Games publishing a video game, beneficial to it, sure. Opening any game to a new audience, especially one as large as a new global audience, means the teams involved can get new and valuable feedback that helps to improve the game. Although there are international players who enjoy the game on Korean servers, we don't often have the opportunity to collect and analyze their feedback comprehensively, says Moon Young Choi, Throne and Liberty Game Camp captain at NCSoft. Collaborating with Amazon Games has allowed us to receive feedback from a wider range of global users, which was extremely valuable to us, because this is pretty much your market since no one really plays a Korean version. Amazon Games didn't simply present user needs as demands. They used various reports and data to convincingly explain to our team why certain changes were necessary and how many users wanted them. Like the auto grinding system, the auto combat, yeah. Western players aren't typically fond of that, but at the same time, leaving the lengthy, arduous grinds that required autoplay to actually make even remotely tolerable in-game without the autoplay grinding feature was a ridiculous idea. This needs to be like drastically reined in, or maybe they've done that. Maybe we'll be able to see whether that's an actual issue when the open beta rolls out. Daniel Lafuente, globalization designer manager at Amazon Games, agrees. From day one, we've been working tightly with NCSoft to make sure Throne and Liberty hits the mark for a global audience, just like they have been with Blue Protocol. We've been in the trenches together, running multiple public test phases to get direct feedback from players worldwide. That input has allowed us to really shape the game's direction in unison with NCSoft over the last year plus. The teams have worked together closely, listening to player feedback from around the world and making adjustments as they prepare the game for its Western launch in September. At the end of the day, it has been a truly collaborative effort adapting the core experience while also keeping the soul of what makes Throne and Liberty awesome. Alright. Looking forward to launch. That's a cute character. Massive scale multiplayer battles, a dynamic and changing world, the ability to shapeshift as you explore. This is just scratching the surface of what Throne and Liberty has to offer players when it launches on September 17th. Eager players can experience some of this firsthand even sooner, however, when the game enters an open beta this summer, running from July 18th through 23rd. Interested players can visit the Throne and Liberty site for more details on the beta. The teams at Amazon Games and NCSoft are eager to see players get into the world of Silicium because they need the money. They can't feed their families. They can't afford to keep their studio open. The Korean players aren't spending money. You need to help them out here. They're too poor to continue on. So that is why they're so desperate to get us into Silicium. And they're looking forward to what fans will spend in the game. Gravitate to most in the game. Both teams certainly have ideas on what they think players will be most excited to experience. No skirts, no cleavage. No. Many people highlight Throne and Liberty's ability to provide a smooth gaming experience, even in large-scale player environments, as one of its key strengths, said Lee. The distinguishing feature of a multiplayer online RPG, not an MMORPG, a multiplayer online RPG, compared to a single-player game, is the scale of players, and in this aspect, we take great pride in the tactical prowess of our development team. Beyond the technical aspects, there are many fun elements in the game's content design that are unique, and we have various new content planned beyond what's showcased so far. The game has some seriously powerful tech under the hood that allows for these massive PvP battles, with some events boasting thousands of players duking it out while maintaining that buttery smooth experience we've all grown to love, said Lapuente. Really, thousands of people on screen without a single FPS drop. What? That must be impressive. That would be impressive to see, definitely. That sense of scale and spectacle is awesome. What I'm most excited about is the strong community aspects. Throwing community in an MMO. Throne and Liberty is an exceptionally deep guild system, giving players the experience of bonding with your friends as you take on challenges together. It's got the perfect blend of modern features that allow you to truly engage at scale. The open beta begins 17th. Make sure you pre-register now. I'm gonna attempt to get into it. Maybe they'll just give me access. Maybe, I don't know, they'll give me some keys to give away. Not entirely sure. Keep an eye on the channel or my Twitter for more updates on that. I'm always excited for new MMOs. I'm not gonna judge the game before I play it. I've heard a lot of very negative feedback about the game, but I sometimes have different thoughts and opinions on games to other people. Like, I really enjoyed Soul Worker, and I know a lot of people didn't. So I guess we'll find out soon whether or not we should be excited for the game, and just, you know, slightly longer than that, we'll be able to find out whether or not the game's even good. Now, if this is of no interest to you, absolutely no problem. I got you covered 2 videos on screen right now. It might be more up your alley.